So people are like, how did you get involved, Forrest? Well, so it kind of started as a joke, just because I liked, hey, you want to be a head catcher, and that just sounded like a funny thing to do. And I was like, that sounds like not the worst job. And so it was kind of a joke, and then I was like, I'm always want to take a joke too far. So then I was like, well, let me do it. And then I got up there, and there's like rotation of us, and you know, it, I don't know if the show will be able to capture this or whatnot, but when you're taking a shot and not defending it, there really is like some nerves going on. And I was like in the camera's way because I was like, well, if this guy falls, I don't want him to get staggered and fall off the stage. Um, it's actually a pretty intense moment. I would say surprisingly intense, and hopefully that'll come through, when you watch it on TV. But yeah, no, I was pumped to do it. I was excited for it. And I think, it's something that I've done before, but this is the most I've ever had to like balance people, you get dazed every now and again in sparring, but this was, yeah, it's crazy.
And this is not just two people getting up there and smacking each other. I mean, these are talented, these are strong athletes, right? People who train a lot. I mean, there's more to this than just stepping up there and slapping a guy across from you.
There is. I'm glad. Did I indicate there wasn't? That I
No,
indicate?
no, you did not.
No, no, I'm
But
kidding.
if
I'm kidding.
people don't,
So
you
it's
did not.
funny.
But if I think people don't know
Yeah.
the sport yet, right? This is new
So
to a lot of
I
people.
didn't know the sport yet. It's new to me. And
Yeah.
the cool thing is we actually got to bring all the athletes into the Performance Institute and kind of measure them, like neck diameter, circumference of the head, like range of motion on their hands, how much force they could generate in different positions. And then there's a whole like rule set. So you get into fouls and whatnot. It's actually, there's definitely some technique to it. And there were a couple MMA fighters that were also doing it. And they were like, yeah, it's not as easy as we thought it'd be. One, because when somebody swings at you instinctively, I want to
Right.
block it.
You don't let them hit you.
So yeah, it's kind of opposite to everything you've trained your life for. And then two, there's some technique to it. There's fouls. So it's pretty interesting. I think if you want a like description of it, just watch it, see what happens.
Yeah, and it's great to watch. It's also I think it's tailor made for social media with these incredible
Yes, yes,
knockdowns, knockouts that you get. Uh, Forrest, aside from just the competition being interesting, I think you're the perfect guy to talk to about this because of you being a part of the Ultimate Fighter 1 and what the reality show did for the UFC. And that's why at the beginning I said,
yeah.
I think you're responsible for so much of what the UFC has
That's what I
become, the
keep
monster.
telling people.
Yeah, hey, it's fact, it's true. So now you have that here with Power Slap as well, and this is not just going to be the slap competitions, but also we're going to see these guys living with
Yeah,
each other,
in the
interacting with each other.
house. And
Yeah,
I've only seen probably the same highlights you have. And from what it appears, I got to do a tour of the house initially when they went in. From what it appears, they get they have some scuffles in the
oh,
house just
really?
based on just based on the previews that they get a little crazy in there. So I'm interested to see what exactly happens. And those guys were only in there for like 21 or so days, I think. I don't know how long they were in for exactly, but the initial season of The Ultimate Fighter was 61 days. So we
Ooh.
went nuts by the end of it.
Right? How could you not fight? You have that many
Yeah,
men,
and then
that many men in the
they
house,
shortened it to 4 or 5 weeks, but they were
right?
like, yeah, that's 8 weeks is a little too long. Let's make
They
it five
probably
or
didn't want
six.
you guys killing each other.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Well, it just you just get like you go a little bit stir crazy, which is
yeah,
interesting, right? You're stir crazy, but you're around all these people that you're competing against. So
right.
it's a and I think
Strange
that's
dynamic.
that's the kind of the crux of reality television, right?
Yeah. So what? Can the same thing happen for us? I'm not saying that overnight this is
Yeah,
going to be
yeah.
the UFC, obviously, but can that
Well,
work
what I'm
for?
really hoping is some of these guys and gals that coach, they have really interesting personalities. They have cool stories, and hopefully, it'll give them a chance to kind of rise into the sport and maybe become somebody that people like and root for. There's a chance. Let's see. Let's hope. They're yeah.
Why
I
not?
actually enjoyed working with the guys by the third or fourth week. I found most of them pretty cool, and they're colorful, but you have to be a little bit colorful too getting to something this crazy,
Right.
right?
Before I let you go, Forrest, I wanted to ask you about, over the weekend. I thought it was an incredibly sweet moment. Obviously, we keep talking about
Yeah.
tough one. Your opponent, Stephan Bonnar, in one of the most legendary fights that the UFC has ever put on, tragically passed away a few weeks ago, and you were there with his family, octagon side, watching the fights this past weekend. Why'd you do that for us, and
Well,
how did that come to be?
yeah,
I thought that was
I was just really happy. Well, Dana wanted to do it. I was just really happy that the UFC, he's a Hall of Famer. They gave him some respect and the props, and just, more than that, just to remembrance. Somebody that did contribute a tremendous amount to this sport. Somebody that was there at that jumping off point,
yeah.
and he deserves a lot of credit for that. We were friends throughout the years on and off. He actually ended up moving out to Vegas where I lived, and he's just such a tough, durable guy. He fought anybody. He fought the list of champions he's fought is crazy, and it was great to see a guy that hasn't become a champion still get the recognition that they deserve. This is a tough sport, you know. It's tough on everybody, right? So if you're doing this, that you got a little something special to you, and it was just great to see that. It was great to maybe for his family to see how appreciated he was in the sport.